Our house was built in the late 1950s and so had original wood floors, but some of them were covered up with really old carpet. I'm not sure how old the carpet was, but there was a lot of staining and there were spots that were kind of just worn through. The carpet pad was also coming apart. The fibers were breaking down and leaving almost like a dirt-like substance underneath. I have to say I'm not a fan of wall-to-wall carpet for this reason. I mean, you really don't know what's under there, and whenever you spill anything, you can never really get it all up, so it can get pretty gross down under your carpet. As we pulled up, the carpet and padding, a lot of bits stuck where it was stapled down to the floor. We had to pry out these staples one by one. As you can see, that was a pretty tedious job, not to mention all the holes in the floor those staples made. Luckily, they're pretty small. Around the edges of the room were the tack strips that held the carpet tight. Ben had to go around and pry each one of those up. Here's a look at the living room and dining room once all of the carpet and padding have been removed. We found some damaged areas like this part by the back door. There was a ton of nails in it, some cracked pieces of wood, and also there had been a leak back there. Ben got to work removing the damaged pieces. Some of the pieces were too damaged or too small to be able to reuse. Any pieces that had any salvageable parts, he tried to pry up carefully so that we could reuse anything that was good. Because of the damaged area and also the parts of the floor where they had drilled holes to put in the hydronic system and also had vent openings, we knew that we were going to need replacement pieces to cover all those spots. I found a good color match at Lowe's, but unfortunately the new style flooring is a lot wider and thicker and is installed using a tongue and groove method where our old flooring was face nailed. I couldn't find an affordable source locally, so we ended up going to a lumber mill where we were able to pick out the boards and ask them to cut them to size. The owner didn't use any special tools to protect his hands from the saw blade, which got me a little bit nervous. Here he's using one of the sample pieces I brought to be able to set his saw to the right depth. Once I got the pieces back, I laid them all out and tried some different wood stains to come up with a match. I did have to try a variety of stains, and it was really hard to find one that looked perfect. I did find a close enough match by using a water-based stain, which had a very opaque finish, which is what I needed. A lot of the oil-based stains were just too translucent. I was able to achieve this with just one coat of the water-based stain, but I didn't rub it off. If I rubbed it off, it just didn't leave enough pigment. Next, I used a polyurethane with a satin finish. I was able to use this again later on another project when I refinished the table. I have a video about that if you want to check it out. I am using an oil-based polyurethane, so I'm applying it with a foam brush that I can just throw away. You may notice that the back patio is pretty covered in weeds and our flower beds are very overgrown. We actually have a video about cleaning that all up. I brought the pieces inside to apply the final coat of polyurethane because I didn't want to get any bugs or anything stuck in it. This meant that I really had to have a lot of ventilation though. Finally, Ben was able to install the new pieces of flooring into the space where the damaged pieces had been. He cut each to size and then dry fit them to make sure that they were all going to work together. He used a pull bar to pull the pieces tight before he nailed them down. Here's the area with the new pieces of flooring. The color's a pretty good match.